Aloha everybody and welcome to episode 4 of Craig and Sarah's Ukulele Spotlight. Instead of doing BTS, we actually had the opportunity to be able to spend some time with our good friend Andrew Kitakis. We talk about the Ukulele Site, Hawaii Music Supply, podcasts, so much more, and take a deep dive into his new line, the Oli. So definitely join us and let's go for a ride up to Haleiwa. Aloha everyone. Craig and I are so excited to be able to chat with our dear, dear friend, Mr. Andrew Kitakis. So many of you may know him, may recognize his face, his voice from the podcast that they host. And I mean, Andrew has been just a large part of the ukulele community for years and years and years. And we're going to get into some of that because I have some questions that I want to ask you actually about where we are. We're here at the Ukulele Site, the actual store in Haleiwa. So can you give us a little bit of a brief history of the Ukulele Site, or actually probably it would have been Hawaii Music Supply, yeah? Originally?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. I was working with Ko'olau, building with my brother and my dad, and Jennifer, my wife, got pregnant, and we were looking for ways to make more money for the family.
Yes.
So we started to go to the swap meet on the weekends, and we would take lanikai, and I would do the setup work that we do on them to make them play better, and we would take them down to the swap meet.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, along with a few other brands. But yeah, we would get there at 5 o'clock in the morning and be, you know, fighting with each other, setting up a tent and grumpy. And then, you know, we'd have a great day talking to people and showing them ukes, and it did pretty good. So after maybe a year and a half of that or so, we opened up in the warehouse where Ko'olau built. We opened upstairs, and we had more than ukuleles at that point. We started to get guitars. We picked up different guitar brands. I went to the NAMM show that next year and picked up like Callings and Hamer and G&L and like some pretty nice different guitar brands. Anyways, it eventually built up. We got our own spot. We started carrying drums and keyboards and
oh wow,
digital pianos and all of that, you know. So we did that, and then we moved up to Wahiawa, where we opened up across from Zippy's there, and we had this big, you know, 7,000 square foot retail spot with the whole thing, the uke wall, the guitars, the
wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of people from Schofield, the military base there, that would come and get like a you know, a full stack Marshall and you know, like really like lay down some money. At some point, I think it was probably like 2009-ish or so, there was a period of time where almost everybody at Schofield got deployed, and we were like super slow. And so we were kind of like rethinking the business, and we decided to move up here and go strictly ukulele, focus on that, because we got into the web stuff. Before that, we were just brick and mortar. You come in,
right.
You know, which was really nice, actually.
Do you remember what year you actually started the online side of?
It was a little bit before that. It might have been like 2007, 2008 or so.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So like that was like just, I feel like sort of the uke explosion kind of was like 2006, 2007-ish. for
Yeah.
like when Jake's video went viral and all of a sudden people were starting to realize the ukulele wasn't just a toy.
Yeah. Yeah, and with my background, it just felt natural to
Yeah.
focus on that, to be able to specialize, and that seemed to be kind of where the where business was going in general. Like, it went from being, general store, kind of taking care of a lot of things, to people shopping online with specific needs, and that is really what we had to offer, because we knew more about the instruments. We had the connections with all the different builders here, and we would go see them and work with them. And so we kind of found our niche with that. And it's been
That's
good.
amazing. So do you remember, because I don't think you mentioned it, what year did you start selling things at the swap meet? Do you remember that year?
Oh, yeah. 2004. It might have been the end of 2003, but yeah.
Wow.
2003, 2004. Yeah.
My gosh. So you obviously have been doing this for a long time and definitely know the ins and outs of all of these awesome instruments.
Yeah, well, I built with my dad and my brother for 9 years before that. So that's really where my knowledge comes from. And then through the years trying all the different things and learning different things. But yeah, my dad would take us to the Martin factory a couple times. We spent time there because we were the warranty repair center for them, like the only gold warranty repair center in our district there when we lived on the mainland, and then also over here. And we went to the Taylor factory and spent time with their repair department and learned from them. And then my dad sent me to like Charles Fox guitar building classes, and there was a lot of different things through the years. Even though my dad had a ton of knowledge, my brother had a ton of knowledge, he would still send me out to learn from other people and pick up different things and stuff. So I still would like to get back to just being at a bench building, but this is fun too.
Yes.
And along the way we got to make a lot of great connections. We worked with Music Guy Mike for a while there, and he taught me like different things about selling online and that sort of thing, and then along the way picked up guys like Corey and Calais, and
that was
the
one
crew.
of the next things I actually wanted to ask you about is how, you have some of the best ukulele players in the world that actually work for you. How, I don't know, part of me is like, how crazy is that? But how awesome is that? Because you actually have some amazing people who know how to give incredible feedback on the instruments. Because something that you're very much known for are the podcasts. Now, for those, how did those kind of come about? Because I remember before that, Craig and I were very fortunate and lucky enough to get to come up, and that's actually when I felt like, I was really making it, because we got invited to actually play and be featured on your YouTube channel when it was still Hawaii Music Supply. So
actually we're still Hawaii Music Supply on YouTube.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know why, I just never changed the name.
That's all right. Now
But I was excited for that too.
Dude.
I remember being really stoked on those videos. Like,
These
guys are so good.
Oh, thank you. It was such a cool experience. And and Len, who we miss very, very dearly, I'm sure you do as well. He's like family. He was
Len
there.
Kojima.
The biggest warm welcome we could have asked for. Corey drove, because we didn't have a car at that point. So Corey drove into town to pick us up and back. And I remember that was like a 2-hour drive because of traffic. But that's besides the point. So how did those sort of turn into the podcast? How did you end up sort of switching gears and doing the podcasts?
Oh, I don't even know.
It just kind of happened.
I forget. Like, I don't know when that exactly started. Like, at some point I put a mic on myself too and sat down and started having the conversations, but that's a good question. I don't actually remember the inception of that, but I knew I wanted to, like, a lot of times I would be recording them playing, and then I would tell them kind of like, oh, don't forget to mention this about the instruments, or, and then, so, I was ending up having to like cut things a lot of times, and I was like, if we could just talk about it back and forth, that might be better. And then I remember like getting visited from like Tobias Alof and
Oh, yeah.
Abe Lagrimas Jr. And there was like different people that came through that I knew I wanted a little bit more than just playing some songs, and
Yeah.
to actually have a conversation so people got to know them better and we could talk about ukes and
Yeah.
music and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so that's been a lot of fun. It's always a good challenge for me to run audio, video, and still try to,
I don't know
pay
how you do
attention
it.
to what's going on and everything. But, it's great. And, as far as Corey and Calais and Joel and Bray and the whole team that we have right now, it's like a family. So, the way to keep talented people like that around is, first of all, treat them with the respect that they deserve. They're gifted people that, are wonderful people too, beyond that,
Yeah.
And I feel like they're brothers. So, and I also want them to do good in music, so it's like if they have a tour or something, we'll like make it work and cover what needs to be covered and stuff. And I do everything I can to make sure they stick around.
Yeah.
Because it's awesome to be able to show people all these different instruments that we have, sounding as good as they can sound.
Right.
And that's not a matter of enhancing it. Like for me, it's been this journey of collecting dozens of different mics over the years, testing them out to try to make sure that I'm capturing it in the most transparent way. It's like when you're holding an instrument and you're feeling the vibration and everything, there's something you get that you're never going to transfer. So you want to at least give it as well as it can be,
Yeah.
without adding in a bunch of other things to try to make it sound better, just giving the natural sound. But so much of that has to do with it's in the fingers of the player. So that's why it's great to have people like Corey and Calais around.
100%. Yeah, the one thing that I know that when we talk to students, because students ask us all the time about, what instrument should I buy, et cetera. That's part of why we started doing these spotlights, is so that we can ask everybody the questions that our students ask us. But we always tell them, if they don't have a local store to be able to go try things out, the Ukulele Site is the closest you can get to at least knowing what your instrument's going to sound like. You always give great details about the instruments themselves, and even getting to hear people talk about the instruments, how it feels in their hands, right? And it's just one of those things that when you get an instrument from the Ukulele Site, that it's going to be set up nicely and it's going to feel great. So thank you so much for always being consistent and always really taking care of folks in that way.
Oh yeah, it's always a work in progress. And then beyond that, we're emailing and on the phone with people every day, because
Yes.
there's a lot of little nuances that you can get into when you're comparing instruments or comparing strings, or
Yeah.
all of the different aspects of the options available.
Now, with all of the knowledge that you have gained over the years, I know you have a new
I
sort of
forgot
project.
it all, but
You have a new project that Craig and I are really excited about. We actually have a couple of the instruments, but can you tell us a bit about Oli and why you've decided to create a new line of instruments?
yeah, kind of wanted to do it for a while, but my family's business is Pono, and I wanted to support that. And we had this custom instrument from Ryan, who works with Noah. He does all the finishing there, but he's like a master luthier. He did their hand-carved archtop series ukuleles, and built a guitar for Corey, guitar for Zach, and he's been one of our favorite luthiers forever, or for the last decade or so. And so it was probably 7 or 8 years ago, he built a lattice braced instrument, which I had heard a few different lattice brace instruments. I really always liked the LFDM lattice brace. There was other lattice braces that I tried that I wasn't like 100% on, but I really liked Ryan's, and he hadn't actually personally heard a lattice brace ukulele at the time that he had built his, but he had heard lattice brace guitars and knew about it from coming from the classical end, and he had built classicals and stuff. So he's like, I think lattice brace would work really well for ukuleles, and it did. I loved it. So I had him draw up blueprints for it, and I wasn't exactly sure at the time what would become of that, but I decided, after talking with my dad, hey, let's do a line of the Ponos using this bracing because it sounds fantastic. And that became the Pono Master Series. Oh. So there was lattice brace Pono Master Series, and then a couple years ago my dad retired, and he gave the Pono line to Noah. But with the Master Series, he told me to just come up with a new name and change the headstock and start my own line. But I was like, well, I want to do more than that if it's going to be a different line.
Right.
So it has a different body shape, and there's a lot of different aspects about the construction that are different than Pono, even beyond the lattice bracing, and did a different neck, a little bit slimmer, a little bit wider, and then just a lot of the other details like the rosette and the arm bevel and stuff, just making it unique, the position markers, and just kind of picking here and there from different custom instruments I've seen through the years on different aspects. And then from there, it's just been experimenting. I mean, I'm going back in a couple of weeks and I'm going to try like 6 different instruments with slightly different specs. So me and Ryan have been playing with it all along, doing, we'll do different heights at different peaks of the lattice and then change the top thickness. So it's like thinner top, taller braces. How does that voice sound? Thicker on the top, slimmer on the braces. What's that voice sound like? Let's try route out along the edge inside and see like what we get from that, and all these different little aspects. And it's been great, and also something that I've just I really want to make just the best instrument possible. I want something that when people play it, they're inspired. And so I'm not going to stop anytime soon, but by the end of the year, I'll have most of the designs pretty finalized. When we go back in a couple weeks, me and Ryan are going to bring them a new X bracing design and a soprano design. But those are ones that we'll just start working on. So it was a number of prototypes before we even got to this, and then we're still playing with that. So everything takes so long.
Well, I know we have some instruments here, so I think you can talk a little bit more about each instrument and kind of what makes them special. But what instrument should we start with first?
I don't know. We came up here to Haleiwa, and I haven't been up here for a while, so there wasn't like a ton of our options. I'm like, we gotta.
No worries.
We have like 20 different models that aren't up here at the moment, but we have some here to your right if you want to grab any one of them.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and grab one and tune it up, and then we'll get started. All right. So this sweet little instrument that I'm holding, can you please tell us more about this one?
Yeah, this is the Mango model. It's the L2, so it comes with the arm bevel. They all come with the side port. You get a little bit more figured Mango on the L2 version. They come with UPTs now, but these have
for the tuners.
Yeah, those have the Grovers. And with most of the L2 models, we've tried to pair it with headstock inlay, so that when you get the Mangoes,
it's beautiful.
Of course.
Look at that headstock. I love it. This is such a great, and that bevel looks so comfortable too. Wow, look at that. All right, may I give it a play? All righty, let's check it out. Let's see. it resonates for a super long time too. It's really easy to play. I love this little guy. You can't go wrong with concert.
Yeah.
And I'm always a sucker for concert style, concert size. They're fun to play, and they have that like quintessential ukulele sound, right? But you still have space, so you can move around. So what a gorgeous, gorgeous little instrument, and it sounds fantastic. Can we play another one?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay, so this instrument, can you talk to me a little bit? Because this inlay is really cool. I love, it's very unique, and like, can you tell us about it and sort of how it's done?
Sure. So with this particular inlay, it's a collaboration that I did. The gentleman that did my arms is in Kailua. His name is Simon Halpern. So I started doing these different inlay designs, and with a lot of them, I just did it from taking shots and then going into Photoshop and messing with it. And with some of them, I got help from my friend Ajita White, who also lives in Kailua. And he used to work with us. He's a killer guitar player, but he does graphic stuff. So I would get it kind of close in Photoshop, and he's like a lot better at like little details than me. So I would get his help to do the final touches. But with these ones, this is just drawn out by Simon, and I just wanted him to do kind of Polynesian inspired but unique designs, and that's kind of like what he did. Even with my tattoos and stuff, you know, just drawing stuff out. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. And so we have another one that we have a couple more coming out from him.
I can't wait to see those when those come out. That's exciting. So can you tell us more about the whole instrument itself?
Yeah, so this is a limited edition koa because I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get more koa, and got some really beautiful cuts of koa from Jorma Winkler a few years ago, and so finally got to use that wood for some of these, but you know, it's probably going to be a couple more years before we have another run of koa ones, but we still have some that are being made with that wood. So you know, koa just has that great koa sound.
And this one too, I noticed the back the back is also super, super lovely as well. I always like it when there's detail on the back too, like this one has. So it's a really beautiful instrument. And all of the Oli have the lattice bracing?
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like I said, we're working on the X-Brace series, but yeah, predominantly lattice.
Lattice brace on this one. Okay, I'm going to give this one a play then, because I can't wait. It's so pretty. All right, let's see. I love it because part of it's the high G, but like again, it has that like, it's a Hawaiian instrument. It has that nice crisp sound, and yeah, just lovely. Absolutely lovely. All right, I can't wait. I have more I get to play. Yes. All right, Andrew, tell me about this gorgeous sounding instrument. Y'all don't know that yet, but you'll hear it soon. So tell us about this one.
Well, Western red cedar is always you guys know that.
Yes,
I think you
for
have
the top.
A custom model with that wood for your top for a reason.
Yes.
You get all the clarity and sparkle of a softer wood top, but a little bit more warmth than, say, like a spruce.
And what are the back and sides?
So that's acacia, and
Gotcha.
It's an acacia that grows in the middle of the island of Java where these are made. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We make
So when you
these
say you're going back there, you're going back over to Indonesia then?
Yeah. So Bandung is, it's just a lovely city. I mean, it used to be called Paris of Indonesia or Paris of Asia or something like that. But just tons of, it's like a food city. There's
nice.
food trucks everywhere and restaurants everywhere, and people actually drive up there for the weekend from Jakarta just to spend a weekend to go to all the different food places, and they're known for, you know, different delicatessens and stuff. But yeah, it's a fantastic place, and my dad developed relationship with this family that was building guitars for over 60 years back 20 years ago, you know. And I went over there with him, really fell in love with the people and the food, and just they are so much like me, wanting to just create the best products possible.
Yeah.
It's interesting because they like won't use laminate woods. Like they kind of take certain stands on things that, like, they take a lot of pride in their craft, and they have a brand that sells locally there called Genta, but then, you know, also make for us. And yeah, it's like, if I didn't have them, I don't think I would be doing this at all, because I just really like them. I like working with them, and
you trust them.
Yeah.
You've been working with them for so long.
Right. Yeah. And we just want to get, you know, to the most amazing instrument that we can possibly put out there.
Wow, it sounds like a perfect
they're on the
partnership.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm excited to play this one for everybody, because we were tuning it and playing it before, and it's a great sounding uke. Nice. Let's see if I can play something that'll do it justice. This one's really lovely.
You remember Lyle Ritz?
Yep, that's one of his.
Yeah.
That was Lulu's Back in Town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thought so. Yeah, that's, he was kind of the best in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I don't know, there's something, like, he obviously was super inspirational for me, because, like, when I was first playing ukulele, like, I really was interested in doing jazz, because I never thought I could ever play jazz, because I came from classical violin, right? And so then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I could play standards, all these cool songs, and then getting to hear that album, How About Uke?
Yeah.
Right? And he was actually playing reentrant baritone on that, right? And it's just like, oh man, this is what I want to play. And that's because I think I discovered that in 2007, I think was when I discovered that. And it was just like, no going back. That Lulu's Back in Town is, I think, one of the second song I ever learned.
I got to help build a couple instruments for him back in the day.
Oh, that's right, because he played, he had ko'olau.
He had two ko'olaus, yeah. I remember when we finished that first one, though, and then it was tenor in the DGBE tuning.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, DGBE tuning. It's like, but then he played it, and I'm like, yeah, that's that is correct.
You got it. Yeah.
But yeah, he was quite amazing and inspirational for a whole movement of
absolutely
more advanced jazz style ukulele.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Tell me about this little guy, and I also absolutely love the little friend that we get to have up on the headstock.
Yeah, I was looking at different local birds, and
yeah.
I really thought this one was cute. This is a Japanese white-eye, and it's small and chubby. I thought maybe having it on the skinnier tenor would be fun.
Yeah.
I don't really know why.
Well, I love him. He's really sweet.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, when it comes to inlays, it's like, sky's the limit. I mean,
it's true.
We could do this forever. But yeah, it ends up being a lot of back and forth of, can you try a little bit different color here or there, So, but slimmer.
Oh,
so this is closer to 2-inch versus closer to 3-inch on the regular depth.
Gotcha.
And we're still kind of developing this model.
Now, what was the reason to do a little bit thinner for this one?
Well, I had a shoulder injury a couple years ago, and so my rotator cuff was torn, and like reaching around an instrument for anything more than like 5-10 minutes would start to, and there's been through the years I've had a lot of customers talk to me about that too. And so it's just a little bit less to reach around, and especially with the bevel, it just makes it just a hair more comfortable.
A little more ergonomical for
Yeah.
folks. That's good to know, actually, because I had never really thought about how the thickness could actually affect that. But of course, because that's more
Yeah.
that you need to reach around for. Huh? Very cool. Yeah, it's beautiful, and yeah, the bevels are always so comfortable. Like that's something that I really appreciate when it's there, and then you notice it. If you're used to it, then you really notice it when it's not there.
Yeah, and I mean, when I started off, and I, was working with Ryan, and he's all like arm bevel on an ukulele. But you know what? If you play something long enough, like all these little things with comfort matter.
Yeah, it does.
For some people, having the radius fretboard doesn't. It's like either way, whatever, And in a sense, I'm kind of like that. But then when you get into like long sessions of play, having this be comfortable and this stay comfortable and all of the different aspects really matter more.
Yeah, and the Oli don't come with the radius fretboard, correct?
They do.
They do?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I'm glad I asked you. Nice.
So like for you, it's like subtle enough to not even really matter.
No, that is one thing that I don't really notice as much. Though Craig sometimes will have issues with radius fretboards because with his picking hand, because he expects the strings to be in a certain place.
Yeah.
And then they're like it's in a slightly different spot.
Yeah.
But after you play it for a little bit, though.
That's how Abe was telling me that too. But I think it's more apparent on. Like the 12-inch radius versus like this is more like 16. So
yeah,
it's pretty subtle, but still adds a little bit of curve that a lot of people like.
Well, and also, I mean, your hand naturally wants to curve when you do bar chords. That's part of why they buzz for some folks, right? So it makes a lot of sense. Well, let's play this adorable little guy. He's so sweet. Okay. The low G sounds nice on this one, actually. Sweet, I know. Those of you out there know Craig and I make jokes about high G versus low G. But did you decide to is this one always low G, or just this particular model, or is it just each instrument's different?
Yeah, I've been having them lately strung with the low G Koalau Aho fluorocarbon set. What people are going to like, who knows? So
true.
Strings are one of those things where you're not going to make everybody happy, but when you say like order through us, tell us what string you want it set up with. Like the one you played just before this had nylon strings on it.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like that too. It's hard to say.
Strings are very subjective, so I totally get it. But this sounded really nice.
I still go back and forth on what I should have it set up with stock-wise, But yeah, I've been using these lately.
Nice.
Nice.
I've been wanting to play this one like the whole time we've been sitting here. It sounds gorgeous, but this looks so stunning. Tell me about this one and how this particular instrument came about.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because with this project I get to shop for woods. So just buying some quilted maple and then sending it over there and working with them on the specs for it and stuff. And yeah, we this is, I guess, the last one of these for now.
No.
But we have some other ones coming that are going to be in different colors and natural too. But
Okay.
yeah, so there is some more maple stuff coming, but all of these kind of things are going to be
But I
kind
mean,
of
just look
limited.
at this sunburst. Like, this is just so, they did such a great job.
Yeah, I like their sunburst too.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it looks and sounds amazing. It's funny because you don't always get that, right? It'll look great, but it might not sound like.
Yeah.
But this one, though, it's like you've got everything. It's so.
Yeah,
great.
so you have the maple binding as well,
Yeah.
but they just tape off for that when they spray. Pretty cool, huh?
It's real cool. How long does it take? Because I figure, I mean, it has to take extra time for them to do something like a sunburst. Do you know how long it takes?
It's not that much different. It just takes the skill and the tint for the lacquers
Yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, so it's done in layers to where so it definitely takes skill because you're spraying this darker area separately and you're getting it to where it's only hitting along the edges on those.
That sounds stressful.
Yeah. And then after that, clear coating. But
Yeah. And then that
it definitely takes a good finisher to pull off something like this.
Yeah, and I mean I do love the fact that like this is that maple, so it's like you really see this pops so nicely, right? Because you could have just gone with black, right? So it kind of fades away,
Yeah.
but it's a really nice detail. How
you.
cool! Last one. All right, we might have to talk after recording this. We'll see. Because it's gorgeous. So can you tell us more about sort of the process? Because I feel like people hear the word setup, but they don't really know what all goes into it and how much work you guys really do put into every instrument that comes out of the shop, not just Oli's.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's been our thing. I mean, ever
Yeah,
since
that's what
the
you've been known
beginning,
for, yeah.
That's what I would do before I went to the swap meet with cheaper instruments.
Yeah.
Because how it feels and how well it can play in terms of dynamics before buzzing or crapping out in some level. That's the goal, to get it to the best spot to where it's most comfortable but still sounding great. And so we have a team of, or a few guys that do that full time, and so it takes a little bit longer a lot of times to get your uke, but
It's worth it, though.
yeah,
'Cause
because for the whole lifetime of it. And I really wish people could play their instrument before and after, because you're getting it, you're not exactly sure, and it's like even expensive instruments a lot of times benefit quite a bit from our setup work. And then sometimes customers have more exact specifications that they're going for, so we can customize the setup towards that. And we install pickups and do all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
But it's really kind of it's like, for me, in terms of what we offer the community and the good that we do, I think that's right there at the very top. That's what we can do for the community, is use our expertise in this regard to take the instrument that they like the sound and look of and just make it play that much better, so that when they get it, it's as good as it can possibly be.
Yeah. Wow. That's really awesome. So thank you guys for all the work you do on that.
Yeah, I hope people know it is a lot of work too, because
It
it's
is.
not like,
Well, we've come and we've seen
not like
Joel
marketing,
we've seen Joel sanding and then looking at the bridges. It's like it's a lot of
Yeah.
work that you're doing on these
I mean,
instruments.
Joel spends a good couple hours a lot of times on an instrument, and yeah, I try to keep it around an hour when I do the setups, because it's like, you can spend forever kind of trying. But
Tweaking.
yeah, a lot of times it does end up closer to the 2-hour mark for me too, because yeah, you're leveling the frets to make sure they're perfect, but then from there you want to recrown them to be like perfectly new looking, and that takes quite a bit of time. And then there's a lot of like sometimes little cosmetic things, so we have buffers, and that's also one way to get less returns. So
Right, you make sure that it's the best it can be when it goes out.
yeah, less for people to not like.
Yeah, true.
We have such great customers, though. Even if it is something that's not really for you, we can get it back and work with you and get you something different. It's hard to shop online for a musical instrument, but you
guys have done a lot of work to make it as easy as it can be.
Yeah, and then in the end, if it's not what you wanted, you're not out too much, but it's pretty rare, actually. I mean, almost everybody is happy when they get their instrument, so
I'm not surprised.
Hey.
So for people to stay up to date, because I know you've got another trip out back to Indonesia to possibly have new models and things coming out, what is the best way for people to stay in touch and watch the journey, watch the Oli and the Ukulele Site's journey?
So Hawaii Music Supply on YouTube.
Yes.
And the ukulelesite.com. Subscribe here to Craig and Sarah too.
That's true. We will be showcasing all the cool new stuff.
Yeah.
That is true.
I really appreciate what you guys are doing, going around to the different builders and doing these features. It's really interesting, and it's helpful for people that are trying to get to know the different companies, the different instruments better, know their options better. So it's a bit of work, but
it is.
We
but
love
the
you
thing
guys.
Is, thank you.
Keep it up.
It's one of those things that we have students all the time ask us questions about instruments and about different stores and things, right? Especially if they're coming over to the islands and stuff. And so Craig and I said, why don't we go talk to our friends and go talk to the people and get the answers? Because we can't always answer all of the questions they have about Kamaka or even some of the things that you have here at the store, right? And so it's nice to be able to have these opportunities.
Yeah.
So thank you for allowing us. You came in on a day that the store is closed, y'all. So don't come on a Monday to Haleiwa.
Oh, we might.
I mean, who knows?
Store hours change,
This
but
is
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Store
Right,
hours
right
might
now
change.
we are closed.
But yes, so thank you for coming in on a day off.
Yeah.
To be able to talk
No,
story
it's
with us.
great. I mean, this is a gift to me from you guys.
No
And
worries.
I love it.
Aw.
This kind of stuff gives Craig an excuse to have all this fancy gear too.
Oh my gosh! Don't even get him started. That guy.
I think he needs a new camera.
Oh no!
Sarah,
no!
come on. There's one that came out and it's even better.
I know, the story of my life, you guys. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Andrew. Don't
Thank
forget,
you.
you guys, go to the ukulelesite.com. Also, you can follow Oli specifically on Instagram as well.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And there's also the Ukulele Site, of course, on Instagram and Facebook and all of that great stuff. And of course, yeah, if you're not subscribed to the Hawaii Music Supply YouTube channel, definitely subscribe. You'll get to see a bunch of us, including Craig and I, and lots of our friends and more. You've had a lot of amazing people on the podcast. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. So check it out, everybody. Thank you.
If you guys want to support what Craig and Sarah do, I don't know, is this going to be out?
I don't know. Is this going to be out before September 21st? Yes, Craig.
Okay.
We've got the high sign from Craig. So yes, also don't forget, Andrew,
Yeah, we're going to be
bless him.
doing an auction.
Yes, he is.
So-
Ukulele Site's going to be hosting the auction for 4 strings at a time. We are so grateful. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah,
We know it's a lot of
got
work.
some amazing. You guys got some really, really great instruments. So you
Yes.
guys can get the world's best instruments and
Yeah,
help
and support.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're really excited. All proceeds will be going toward our 2025 nonprofit 4 Strings at a Time programming. You can learn more about it on 4stringsatatime.org. But thank you, Andrew, for hosting that.
Thank you.
We're so grateful.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, another ukulele spotlight down. We'll see you folks later.